y'all, hey, welcome to the channel. I am Dom, and this is the Late But Blooming podcast. If you are returning, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. Whichever one you are, make sure this isn't your last time visiting the page, rather. So hit that like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things that you're supposed to do on YouTube. And we're going to go ahead and get into our topic today. So what I wanted to discuss with you all was just based off an encounter that I had with my narcissistic ex-husband on yesterday. For the most part, I do practice no contact when it comes to him, just because all the stress, drama, and all the other things that came with that relationship and marriage and etc. I just don't have the time or energy for anymore. So I've just practiced no contact altogether, unless it's in relation to the children. If it's connected to the kids, of course I have to talk to you because they're your children as well. So yesterday was one of those times. And of course, because I no longer comply with any and every request that he makes, if it doesn't have anything to do with the children, I'm very much a don't even ask me kind of person at this point, because for what? And he is still in a place of, he is shocked by that. He is shocked that the supply that he thought would never leave is gone. His mind is still blown, even though it's been over a year since our divorce, and since it's been finalized and all of the things. Give me a second, guys. Safety first. Because I really don't even know why I came this way, honestly. But nevertheless, back to what I was saying. So because I'm no longer compliant for what he wanted, comes basically the wrath that comes on with that. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, about you not letting them convince you of who and what you are because they feel a way that you're no longer bending to their will. One of the things that was stated, and again, it's very patchy because if it's not related to the children, I don't really care what you have to say. So half of the times I don't even look at the messages, if we're being honest, because it's just filled with narcissistic rage and a temper tantrum and all of that, which that's all narcissistic rage is. It's really just an adult temper tantrum, and I don't have the time nor energy for it, as I am raising two young boys myself and working a full-time job and building businesses and going to school and doing all of these things. I don't have time or energy to deal with anyone that's going to try to bring me down, so I don't. But because I don't, that triggers the narcissistic injury that came from leaving the relationship. And when that is triggered in a narcissist, and it doesn't matter if this narcissist is an ex, if it's your best friend, if it's a parent, sibling, whatever the case may be, if you cause a narcissistic injury, they are going to lash out because they are going to have a tantrum, because they want to get what they want regardless of anything else. It doesn't matter if it's an inconvenience to you. It doesn't matter if it's ridiculous. It just doesn't matter. They want what they want from you, and if you don't give it to them, regardless of the reasoning, logic, or whatever the case, they're going to lash out. So in that, with my ex-husband, when he lashed out, one of the things he made a point to say, because he knows at this point there's not much that can trigger me, but he would still make the effort. Don't get it twisted. So he told me, that's why no one likes you except your relatives. And whereas that would have just, I don't know, made me feel some kind of way back when we were still together, because in the fog of the push and pull and the negative and the positive and the tearing you down, but also being the one to pick you back up, that narcissists do, it's a part of that's really a part of what gets you trauma bonded to them. That constant tug of war of, okay, is this love? Is this not? That constant back and forth. And that would have previously just, I don't know, made me question myself and been like, is that why? Am I difficult? Do people think this way about me? Do people think that way? But the thing about a narcissist, and when you finally leave that narcissistic relationship, you become absolutely emotionally bulletproof. You become bulletproof to any attack they try to throw at you, because you know what it is. You know that it is them having a temper tantrum because you didn't give them what they want. So whereas before, maybe 2-3 years ago, where my confidence was already shaky because I couldn't figure out, well, does this man that I'm married to actually care about me? Does he actually love me? You know, he says he does, but then he'll go out and cheat, or he says he does and then he'll lie, or he says he will and don't keep his word, etc., etc. You know, whereas that would have stuck with me and made me question myself, I really just laughed at it, because number one, I'm about to be 40 years old on my birthday. I know I look fantastic for 40, but I'm gonna be 40 years old. What the hell do I look like being concerned or overly invested in anyone outside of my family, honestly, what their opinion is of me? I don't care. And that I don't care anymore, because I realized that when I was in that relationship and I overly cared for someone who did not care about me at all, I overly invested, and that got me nowhere. So now the lesson has been learned that it is what it is. You know, either way, whether you think I'm a great person or you think I'm a horrible person, I know who I am at the end of the day. And because of that, I have now become emotionally bulletproof. There is nothing that anyone can tell me about me that's going to have me scratching my head and like, maybe they're right. Is that why X, Y, or Z? It just can't happen. Because like I said, in dealing with that relationship and finally seeing it for what it is, coming out of it, officially getting divorced, all those hoops and things that I had to jump through because I cared about someone so much and they didn't care about me, I've just become so emotionally, just the fortitude has just multiplied so much to where, like I said, it's very hard to get anything to bother me at this point, because I've been through it. And it hurt when I went through it. But again, that toughened me up to where, like I said, at this point, you're emotionally bulletproof. You're not going to manipulate me. You're not going to convince me that I am less than what I say I am or feel I am. You're not going to convince me that you're more than I am, you know? And that's because I endured and decided to grow, leave first. You have to leave, grow, and heal. Now, you cannot become emotionally bulletproof, of course, if you do not choose to heal. You have to choose to heal. You have to make your healing a priority. And it's going to hurt, because when you start your healing journey, you are going to sit and ask yourself all the questions. Why this? Why that? What if I would have did this? How did this get like this? How did things happen? Etc. You're going to have so many questions. Some questions you're not going to have the answer to yourself. Some questions you're going to want to get closure from them, and they're not going to give it to you. So don't even reach out for that. You just have to understand what you went through, be okay with some things not being answered, and make the intentional decision that you're going to grow and heal. If you can do all of those things and you are really dedicated to doing it, you are going to leaps and bounds emotionally just grow, and just, like I said, your emotional fortitude is just gonna expand way beyond your understanding. And that's just what it is. Now with this, again, you become emotional bullshit, so you're less likely to fall for the bullshit. So what the narcissist doesn't even realize is that in taking you through everything that you went through, when you finally saw it for what it was, hey, they made you, like I said, invincible to going through any of that ever again. Because now you know what, first of all, you know what narcissism is. You know what it looks like. You can peep the signs and the red flags and see them for what they are. You're no longer going to turn your blind eye to them, because you remember what happened when you did that last time, and you're gonna grow, and you're gonna get the things that you actually deserve and want out of life. without having to worry about this person basically being the enemy that you're sleeping with. You're not gonna have to worry about that anymore. And they have no one to blame but themselves for your leveling up, because you're going to level up above and beyond everything you went through with them, because they made you emotionally bulletproof. So lock in, y'all. Lock in. Understand it for what it was and decide to grow and not go through foolishness anymore. Okay? So I hope this helps someone. I hope you got a little something from it. And until next video.